Hi, Julie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Good too. Okay, could you please tell us a bit about yourself, your academic background, maybe, and share a bit on the journey to being Dr. Volkan?
Yes. So I'm from Belgium. I studied in Ghent, and I actually studied biomedical science. I studied that a bachelor and a master that took 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then and then I ended up doing a PhD at the Department of Nuclear Medicine.
Mm.
And I finished that after 6 years. So it took me quite some time because I was an assistant of a professor. So I had a lot of other stuff to
Yeah,
do besides the lab work.
yeah,
Um, and and then actually after finishing my PhD, I traveled for more than a year.
travel.
Um, yeah, so I took 1 year off to travel. I'm very fortunate that I was able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually decided to apply for the job at iThemba labs. And now I'm a postdoc working at the radiobiology lab, um, still doing cancer research.
Mm-hmm.
But it changed a little bit. I was used to work with small animals in the lab, and now it's more on cell lines, but
Yeah.
still a lot of lab work, still in the academic world, writing papers. Yeah, but yeah.
No, I hear you. That's cool. That's an extensive and amazing journey. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Also, thank you
yeah.
so much for sharing that with us. So is this something that you like always wanted to do? Have you always known that you wanted to be a researcher in biomedical science?
No, really. For me, it was not that I knew from when I was young already what I wanted to be. I
Yeah.
think when I was a kid, I also didn't have the best grades in school. I was really more busy with doing sports. I actually played 17 years of soccer and I was really into that. And really, I was uh, only when I was like 17, 18, and you're like really at the end of high school, and then you really need to decide. That's actually the first time I was like, what do I really want? What is the thing that can trigger me for a long time? But I think I really think if you're 17, I really didn't have an idea of what jobs really mean, or that you really understand what you're actually going to do. So for me, it was a hard choice because I studied in high school science, and maths, but also languages. So in Belgium, we learn 3 different languages. So I was like, maybe I should study languages or do something in sports or physical activity,
Yeah.
or the science. So I think for me, it was very hard to choose. And I actually the teachers really helped me because they they said maybe we think you really can do science. My grades were good in science, and but then even the choice, if you even yeah, when you chose one direction, it's even hard to choose between all the sciences that exist. So I was like, oh my god, okay, science, what do I want to learn? Do I want to learn biology? Am I interested in plants and nature, or am I more interested in physics? Or and for me, I finally found that I was more interested in the human body, and like learning different types of diseases, how they develop. So I thought that would be, for me, something that really could interest me for years. So I chose that. But uh, it's not easy to choose when you're 17, I think. So
Yeah.
I would like to help the young girls that will watch this interview. It's not easy, and there's not really one answer I can give them. Yeah,
It's a bit of a process. Like there's a lot of thinking that needs to go deep.
yeah, and yeah. I also wanted to say that it would have helped me if I would really know like biomedical science, then you know, okay, it's about sciences of the human body, but then you don't really know what am I going to do as a job. You don't really know. So it would actually have helped me if I could follow someone that does that job, follow in the lab, like for one day, just to see what it actually means. So it would actually be very good if at the end of high school, you would be able to maybe follow one day 3 different types of jobs that you might be interested in,
Yeah.
just to get a feeling of what the job actually means. Because I think for me that was really, I really didn't know. Even starting at university, I didn't know. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. So you think then that if we had maybe role models, female role models that are already in the sciences that would open up to be um, mentors kind of to those people or to those learners that are still in high school, then it would make making the choice easier for high school learners.
Yeah, I think if there would be like a day at in the year where they would just be able to listen to females explaining what their job is like, what they are actually doing, and to talk about the journey, of course. It would help them to just to maybe they would feel a connection with one of them and really feel, or at least could help them in a certain direction. If it is medical science or just more technology, IT, or that they just can follow 3 different interests, I think that would help. Yes.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So maybe apart, because it's a challenge coming up with maybe a career in sciences, especially without people to look up at, like you said. So did you experience any other challenges in your journey to becoming Dr. Balkan like you are today? And if you did experience those challenges, how did you maybe overcome them?
I think, yeah, doing a PhD on itself is very challenging. And where I studied at Ghent University, biomedical science, for example, is a very female thing to study. Like we are with 150 students, there were 3 males. So choosing for biomedical science was not a big step for me. It was like, it is really like a female job and you will be accepted. There won't be any issues with that. I think still in Belgium with engineering, and it's really still a male world still now. I feel it's changing. So that would be maybe a more difficult choice to make, to study that. For biomedical science was for me not really a challenge. During my PhD as well, the biggest challenge is that you have so many moments that you really are by yourself. It's like, I think is the biggest challenge. You really need to want it yourself, because although you have a professor that is guiding you, if you're not motivated, you won't reach it. So the difficult challenges during all the years, I think, during your PhD is just to stay motivated. And I think if you really know what you want, and if you're really giving all your energy in it, I think you can really reach anything. So I would say that they should not be afraid of the things or the challenges. Or of course there will be challenges, there will be a lot of trial and error, definitely in research. But I would say that I reached my goal because I was very persuasive to reach it. And although it took me 6 years to get to the PhD, I was very happy to reach it. So I would just say, yeah, even if they get any difficulties reaching it, that it's normal and that they just should keep believing that they can do it.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's amazing. That's really amazing. Like I can imagine, because you're saying that at the end, it was a bit challenging, but at the end it was like a rewarding experience. So I can imagine there's like so much more rewarding experiences that taking up a career in the sciences or in the STEM has given you. Would you share some of the experiences or fulfilling experiences or exciting experiences or rewarding experiences that you've had in your career as a scientist or science researcher?
Yeah, so of course, as a scientist, you try, you do experiments in the lab, and you want to find something. I think that's, you want to help. Like in my field, you want to help patients. You want to. So I do cancer research. I just test new drugs, for example, or try to image the tumors. That was actually what I did for my PhD. So it's a lot of trial and error, and of course you're like looking forward to the moment that you really got a positive result, or even if it's negative, that you would be able to tell it to the outside world, like, I did this for 3 years in the lab and finally I found something. So I think the first very good experience was when I had my first publication, and I could really show the world what I did and then publish it online and see my name. And then it got published on my birthday, my first paper. So that was like, yes, this was meant to be. And like, yeah, so I guess as a researcher, that these are the best moments. Of course, you have nice moments in the lab when you first get a good result. Like one of the moments I know is I was developing a model where I had to irradiate the brain of the rat, and then I would image the rat to see if the brain got damaged. But really, I imaged it for 6 months, every 2 weeks, and I couldn't see anything. Like, I was like, this is not working, this is not working. And then after 6 months, I saw the lesion on the MRI scan. I was like, oh my God, I could not believe it. And like I think these are the moments that you're like, yes, this is why I do research. I really, yeah. I think that is something that, I would say that pushes me to keep doing research. Yeah.
I want to know if what do you think, or how do you think society would maybe benefit if more of the careers in STEM that are considered as male careers could be opened up even more to women, or if women can take up more careers in STEM, for example? What do you think the impact on society would be?
Yeah, that is quite difficult to answer, I think, what the impact would be. I think if we would really show more to the outside world what women are capable of doing, like, I think certainly for young women that are targeted in this interview, I think it would really make them more open-minded and really stimulate them to study. And I think if society is able to really motivate or trigger females at a young age, there would be a better base for them to start building careers in science, and also, I think, reaching higher positions later in life, and maybe get a more balance of managers or good positions between females and males. And I think certainly for like countries like South Africa, where there's still, I believe, more differences between females and males compared to Europe. I think it could really stimulate the females and get more equity and more opportunities for the females eventually. And if from higher up there would be, I don't know, more motivating to, to get females into STEM and get higher positions in the STEM world, it would be motivating for the youngers. And then I think it's really a process that will take still years, I think. But yeah, that's, I think, my opinion.
No, I hear your opinion, and on that opinion of seeing more women in STEM will maybe stimulate the younger ones. to also want to be a part of that experience. What other ways do you maybe think we can try and invite younger learners to be a part of science careers, to take up science careers?
Yeah, so I think the role models are important. So for sure, I'm sure if the younger females would see them as an example, that would help them. I think for sure the key players as a child are the parents and the teachers. So I think both the parents and the teachers should maybe become more open-minded and stimulate their kids to do whatever they're interested in, if it is physics or IT or engineering. As a female, they should stimulate it, and not guide them to a more female direction or anything that they had in mind for their daughter, for example. So maybe, yeah, I think the key players are to maybe change the teachers, the parents, or reach out to them maybe, and for the children themselves also present some role models more in social media, for example. I think that could help. I did write 3 things down that I thought would be good, so I'm just seeing if I had something. No, I think that's what I wrote down. I said, like, first, create a more supportive education, so that you try to, like, trigger the curiosity of young children already, for STEM, and then reach out to the key players, the teachers and the parents. And also at the work environment, if we would see that there are same amount of women or males in higher positions, it could be stimulating for the youngest, because they can see what they can reach, and not be like, it's not possible, or I'm a woman, I'm meant to work and do the chores at home, and not, like, this is still a little bit present as well, even in Belgium. Like, if I look at my parents, it's my mom working at home doing all the chores, and my dad isn't. So it's still something to work on, I would say.
Yeah. Any more advice for maybe learners, young girls that would want to take up careers in STEM?
I would just say that they shouldn't be afraid to just study something that they are not, they didn't think they would be made for. I would just say, be open-minded in your study choice. Think about what could inspire you for years, because unfortunately, if you chose something, you probably do it for the rest of your life. So it's an important choice. It doesn't mean, like I say, probably you're going to do it for the rest of your life. We can always change, of course. But for me, it really shaped my future, what I studied. So, and I think I made a good choice. So I would just say, be open-minded, look for something that will interest you for years and inspires you, and just believe that you can do it. Because really, I was not a good student in high school. I only like flowered, I would say, I don't know how to say, at the university, really. And then I got really good grades. It was just like something I really wanted to accomplish. I wanted to show my parents that I really could do university, because they really didn't expect me. They said, you can try and you'll see if it doesn't work. I had really, really supportive parents, but that actually motivated me. Like, I really want to show them that I can do it, that I can have this degree in science. Yeah. So I would just say that to them, like, don't be afraid, and believe in yourself.
Yeah. So your maybe grades, if you look at your grades now and you kind of feel demotivated, you shouldn't, because you can always pick up to university and be the best that you can.
Yes, I believe that. Yeah.
Do you think personality matters? Do you have to maybe consider the kind of person that you are before you choose a career?
Um, I don't really think so, but I have to say that during my studies, my personality changed. So I have to say, um, it's first of all, you really, I went to another town to study, so that was already a very big experience where you start to be very independent because you need to study on yourself, you need to even cook by yourself, you need to motivate yourself to go to the university to follow the classes. So that made me much more independent than I was at high school. So it will definitely change your personality, I think. I also became more social because you're in a classroom with 150 people. You need to make contacts because you can't stay alone. So you need to open up yourself. So that changed also a lot for me. And then during my PhD, once I had my master's, I was able to go to a conference abroad to talk about your research, join with the professor, speak to other researchers. And that was really a nice experience. I really became more open-minded. Of course, you see the other countries, you see people from other countries that you talk to. You, of course, see the nature of other countries. And I think the whole experience of being able to even go abroad for work was really a nice experience and really changed your viewpoint, I think. So I think that's also what made me then a traveler and maybe made me now so open-minded to even go to Cape Town and do research here. So I would say your personality at the beginning doesn't really matter, I think. I think you can study anything, but I'm sure your personality will change during your STEM education. Yeah.
I hear you.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you, thank you, thank you
Ah,
so much for your time. And thank you so much for
you're
speaking
welcome.
to us and to the learners that are listening, or
Yeah.
listening when we are playing it for them.
Okay, great. It was a pleasure.